the new dreamers who stopped by Dawn Dares to Dream today to see what we're all about. Well, let me give you a brief summary of my purpose here on my channel. My purpose is to inspire adults to dream again. Because as we go through life and take on our different roles and responsibilities, we tend to put our dreams on the back burner. My goal here at Dawn Dares to Dream is to help you pick those dreams back up and to pursue them again. And guess what today is, dreamers? Happy Hour Friday! Happy Hour Friday! You know I love my Fridays. And I love my happy hours. What I wish, though, is I could do happy hour like I used to, where I met up with my friends and we had a couple cocktails and we talked and we laughed and we joked. That would be nice. But for now, these happy hour Fridays are going to have to do. So today, what I am making is the classic cocktail, the mojito. Now, I'll give you a little story about the mojito. I learned about this cocktail at McCormick and Smith. They call it M&S now. And I sat in Baltimore outside with a couple of friends in the restaurant industry, and I didn't know what to get. And the bartender or the cocktail waitress suggested the mojito. And I really enjoyed it because it's such a light and refreshing cocktail. And I have loved it ever since. But as you know, rum isn't my drink of choice. So I don't have rum at home, so I hardly ever make a mojito. This will be my first time, I think, making a mojito. But I'm going to make it for you. And that way you know how to make one as well. But it's a very light and refreshing cocktail. It's almost like you're not drinking at all. Also today, we have a special topic. We are on key 5, and that is recognizing our triggers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what a trigger could be. I mean, there are many things that can make something a trigger for you, but I'm trying to, or my goal is to help you identify when you are triggered and what you need to do to kind of help to reset yourself and to understand why you are triggered. Because this goes hand in hand with inner work. Inner work is something that we talked about yesterday, where we are dealing with our past pain, hurt, and trauma, because our past pain, hurt, and trauma is why we are triggered. So I talked about past pain, hurt, and trauma, about us releasing and let it go, of course. And in this video, I want to talk about, as we are still triggered, how to recognize those triggers and then how to dig deeper inside of ourselves so that we understand where the hurt, where the pain, where the trauma came from that causes us to be triggered with that particular action. So let's get started making this cocktail. Of course, I'm going to tell you everything that goes in this cocktail. I actually purchased this rum because I like the bottle. You know me. So this is Blue Chair Bay rum. It says it's a premium rum. I opened it and I sniffed it, and I'm going to tell you, it smells pretty clean. You know how you get the aroma of a typical white rum? Not this one, Blue Chair Bay. So we're going to use this for our mojito, but I really picked it because of the bottle. We're going to also use club soda. I'm using Canada Dry. Of course, we're going to squeeze some lime. I believe the juice of 1 lime should do. And of course, we're going to have our mint. This is what allows the drink to be so refreshing. So what we're going to do first, we are actually going to muddle some of the mint leaves. I'm going to do probably about 8 mint leaves in this drink. The recipe actually called for about 8 mint leaves, so I figure I should listen because, oh my God, it smells so good as I'm pulling it off. Because remember, at the end of the day, this drink is all about the mint because it helps to brighten up the drink. So I'm putting all of these little mint leaves in here. I think I overdid it. I think I did more than actually 8. So I'm going to add a little bit of the club soda in here because I'm going to muddle these mint leaves. So I'm going to put some liquid in there. I'm also going to add in some agave syrup. I'm going to do 1 ounce of it. The recipe calls for simple syrup or sugar cubes or sugar. And I'm using agave syrup because that's what I use to sweeten my drinks. So you can use simple syrup if you choose. And you know, like I always say, simple syrup is basically equal parts water and sugar. Bring it up to a boil and cool. So I'm going to dump that in there. And then I'm going to take my nifty muddler and I'm just going to smash and turn the mint leaves, because what we're doing is releasing like the oils in the mint leaves so that they flavor the actual beverage. So I think I have done a good enough job. I think. Okay, now I'm smelling it. So you know you've done a good enough job when you smell the aroma of the mint coming from the glass. So now I'm going to cut this lime in half and I am going to juice this lime into the drink. So I said we were going to talk about our triggers. Okay, so we talked about our inner work where we're working on our past pain, hurt, and trauma. Now with the trigger, what that means is we haven't necessarily really released it and let it go yet. The pain, hurt, and trauma. So what happens when someone does something that's very similar to the people who hurt us or caused the trauma in our lives, we overreact. Say for instance, I'll give an example of, I'll be personal. I'll give you an example of a trauma that occurred to me. My brother and I were left alone a lot, and he was basically my caregiver, and his role at all should not have been to be my parent. It shouldn't have been. He should have been able to just be my older brother, but that wasn't the cards that we were dealt. So he basically raised me up until a certain age. Now, he used to get on top of me and like hold me down like people can do, you know, they think it's fun or whatever. I didn't find it fun. So when he used to do that, it used to terrify me because I felt like I had no control because I was basically pinned down, right? But he thought it was funny and he thought it was fun. So he continued to do it. Now, as an adult, I didn't realize how much that had affected me until I was with my son's dad one day and we were horsing around and he pinned me down and it was like I snapped and I switched into a totally different person and I basically went on attack mode, defense mode of how can I get from under him being pinned down this way, because it reminded me of my brother doing that to me. So, I mean, he realized when he was looking at me in the way that I was like, get off me, and fighting him, that he needed to get off of me because I was no longer in play mode. This had turned very serious for me. And he couldn't understand why I had reacted that way, because in his mind, I had overreacted. In my mind, I didn't do anything wrong. But it's in those moments, is what I'm trying to say to you, where other people react to you in a manner of disbelief and they can't understand where this anger or emotion has come from that you are now displaying to them. That's when you know you've been triggered from something in your past, because they really didn't do anything wrong. They're just playing around or just having a conversation with you and they say the wrong thing, and that wrong thing in turn turns into an argument for no apparent reason. So the people around you are trying to understand, where did that come from? How did we get here? It just makes no logical sense to them. So I'm just saying to you, when those things occur, if you can, in the moment, realize that you've gone overboard, come back to yourself and just let them know, I'm sorry, I've been through some things and that triggered me. But I also want you to, if you can at that moment, if you're home, someplace safe, find a quiet place and meditate, be still and ask, I want it to be revealed to me why I reacted with such extreme, intense emotion. Why was my response so intense? And meditate on that. You may not get your answer today, But you eventually will get your answer. And if you don't meditate, pray on that. But you will eventually get your answer. God will reveal to you why that was such an intense moment for you. And once you know why it's an intense moment, you know where it came from, why you're triggered, what happened in your past to cause that, then that's where you go back to the inner work and you work on releasing and letting that go so that someone else doesn't suffer the wrath of something that they didn't do or cause. And if you can't release it and let it go for whatever reason, because it was that deep, you're scarred that deep, then make sure you set up boundaries with people. So the individual that you had the issue with and you overreacted, you want to now go back to them and really say, I realized where this came from and why I reacted this way. This had nothing to do with you, and I apologize. But I do ask that we not do X, Y, Z again, because I don't want to overreact again, because I'm still working on myself. And I know that's a very vulnerable place to be, and why would you want to just say that to people? But you need to, because people need to understand what their limitations are in engaging you, because you don't want to continue to go around overreacting, or you set boundaries for yourself that don't allow you to engage with people in a certain manner. That is also a way to protect yourself until you can release and let that particular issue go. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add in the rum. We're going to do 2 ounces of rum. And I'm telling you, this rum it just smells really good. I'm very surprised because I had never heard of it before. So here we go. We have 1. And then we have 2. And we're going to add in ice, and then we will add in the remainder of the club soda to fill the glass. So I added in ice. So now we're going to add in club soda. We're just going to top it off with the club soda. And then we're going to stir the cocktail. Just want to get the ingredients to all work together here. And we are going to garnish with a sprig of mint, and we're going to add a lime wheel as well. So there we are. Our mojito. But before I take a sip, I just really want to reiterate how important it is for us to understand our triggers. I have triggers. I believe we all have triggers. And we may or may not forgive and let go all of it. You know what I mean? We're all a work in progress. But in the in-between time, we need to make sure that we set up boundaries so that we are not hurting other people because of our triggers, because we haven't forgiven things from our past and let them go. Because there is a video that I have where I talk about hurt people hurt other people. Damaged people hurt people. And it's a cycle. So if I have trauma in my life that I have not let go of, it impacts others in my life. So when we talk about forgiving and letting go, remember that has a lot to do with other people that didn't even hurt you, because we can move forward in our lives and we can hurt other people because of what has been done to us. If we don't forgive, release it and let it go. So I am going to taste my mojito. Now my mojito isn't as clear as it could be because I use agave syrup. If I used a simple syrup or just sugar, it would be a clearer drink. Cheers! It's really good. I'm surprised. I was afraid that the agave syrup was going to be too powerful and kind of overtake the drink. It has not. The lime is awesome. It's sweetened like just right for me. So my suggestion is, if you don't like sweet at all, you might just want to use a 1/2 ounce. of the simple syrup. But for me, the 1 ounce of agave syrup was really, really good. And I really can taste and smell the mint as I drink this drink. I am going to enjoy the rest of my cocktail, I tell you. And I want you to remember, if you can't or you haven't released and forgiven all of the damage, all of the trauma that has occurred to you, I understand. I have things that I know that I still hold on to, but I am working to let them go, because you have to remember, we activate the law of attraction more effectively the more of the pain, hurt, and trauma that we let go, because that's the negativity that we are holding on to. But remember, you do not at all costs, if you can help it, want to hurt other people because of what you've been through. So remember to set those boundaries. Those boundaries are going to help you to be a better person, to keep that joy, peace, love in your life, so that when you are manifesting from a positive state. When we function off of our triggers, off our past pain, hurt, and trauma, we're functioning from a lot of negativity, and we're spewing negativity out. So how can we attract it in? That is why it is important to recognize your triggers and to set boundaries if you have not been healed from the trauma. If you like this video, give me thumbs up. Also down here, remember, you can share. There's a share button with an arrow. Click on that. Share this to your social media platform. Share this to Facebook. Leave me a comment if you have any questions about the mojito, because my intention is to make different spins on the mojito. I did more of the classic cocktail today, but I am going to do some twists on the mojito. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any questions about the topic, being triggered, and how to handle that, I'm here for that as well. And if you have not subscribed, my face is going to be up here in a circle. Click on my face, select the gray bell, select all, and that way you'll be notified to all the new content I place up here to YouTube, and you will be subscribed as well. And remember, if you have not downloaded the action guide, go to my website, dawndares2dream.com. The link is also in the description for this video. Go there, scroll down to the bottom, register with your name and your email address, and that way you will have a free copy of the action guide, and you can use that to keep along as we go through the 10 keys. Have a great day, dreamers!